What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode. My name is Chris, as always with me, Liam. And today, despite his enthusiasm, you saw how high it was. We are diving into Alien Episode 3, the only one season, so I don't have to say that. And man, what a ride it's been so far. We already reviewed the first 2 episodes. You guys actually joined in quite a bit with that, so thank you so much for, tuning in, sharing your opinions and stuff. Today, we're going to be doing the same thing with episode 3. By no means are we experts on this universe. We do know quite a bit. I've been watching the movies and being involved in this universe since I was a little kid. So I do like to connect the pieces. And that's really what we like to do here is enjoy the entertainment, theorize, predict, share about character growth and arcs. And so if you like that too, you're in the right place. So go ahead, subscribe to this channel if you want to keep joining us. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. And the best way to engage with us is down in the comments below. And we're going to get started.
Yeah, so opening scene had Wendy running in, but I got asked, what the fuck is the connection with Wendy and the aliens?
Yeah, it's a mystery for us right now. And yeah, just like you said, so this episode basically starts right where episode 2 ends. If there's no time gap, no nothing, it's just like, whoop, we're going. And it's very clear from the very opening scenes that it's almost like she can tap into their communication. I don't know yet. I don't know if anybody has an awesome theory, definitely share why she has this.
Remind me a timeline again of the movies, because is this before or after Prometheus?
So Prometheus technically is the first movie in the timeline. That's how Weyland finds out about the aliens, the engineers, everything that's going on. And that's what sends the Prometheus out. And Weyland goes to go find his creator, right? So while this is happening, while Yutani is trying to reclaim her property, Weyland's actually in the Prometheus on his way to go through the events of that movie. So it's happening like almost simultaneously, and the Nostromo from Alien is also on its way to where it's supposed to go. So like all these things are happening relatively around the same time, but we're supposed to be kind of what we're witnessing would be before those movies, because those movies still have to travel to their destinations.
Okay, gotcha. Because that gets rid of the theory I may have had. My theory was that maybe they used some of the engineers' DNA or something to create Wendy to skip that hurdle that they seem to be stuck on.
According to my knowledge, and again, I love you guys sharing your theories too, we have not met the engineers yet. We know about them, and that's why they sent the Prometheus out.
Gotcha.
Boy Cavalier keeps saying that how special Wendy is. And like obviously they all are hybrids, but just how special she is. And he references sometimes to like how she was the first one, so that makes her special. I don't think that's it. She may have been the first of the children, but they talked about how the human mind, the adult mind, isn't pliable enough to do the transfer. So they've tried it before, right? There's failed experiments. There's other times they've done it. And so they've just perfected it to the point that now they know they can put a child's mind into it. So my thought process would be, you've got Boy Cavalier, who is this trillionaire genius, prodigy, hence the name of his company. What would stop him from tampering with the next one and maybe putting some, I don't think they have xenomorph DNA yet, but like putting some high-tech frequencies or using that supercomputer that is her brain to allow her to tap into lights and sounds and things that humans can't.
Well, she already proved that she can control technology,
which is something they didn't think she could do. So yeah, she's like, I think by putting that supercomputer inside of her gave her like otherworldly advantages that we would think to be superhuman.
The way to have her like organically evolve.
Because in that, he only mentions putting the supercomputer in Wendy. He doesn't mention the other hybrids being powered by this supercomputer. I just assume that all hybrids have the same tech. But do they have the same tech? Is Wendy the only one powered by the said supercomputer? Anyway, that was kind of my arc for that, because I have a feeling, and we'll talk more about Boy Cavalier towards the end of this, I have a feeling that he did something different to Wendy. She's not just the first of the kids of the Lost Boys and all that, but she's like the first where he put this tech in it.
That makes sense to me. I think that there's something obviously very different about Wendy, not only in the way that she reacts, because she has the most emotion out of everyone, in my opinion, for actually feeling it though.
I think because she's the oldest, so she's the most developed in being able to like harness or be with emotion. Because let me tell you, one of the funniest parts of this whole episode was, bro, and they're
dude,
talking
where's my car? That's all I kept thinking. Dude, where's my car?
They were so like, it brought you back to where they are mentally perfectly. They are just 2 little kids who just saw the craziest sci-fi things of their life. and they're scared out of their minds, but they're still excited and they want to share it with each other.
Yeah. When I was watching that scene, I was like, wow, adults acting like kids really just makes me think of fucking burnouts or stone.
I mean, it could be. I mean, especially the stereotypical movie stoner, for sure.
Yeah. That's when I'm like Kumar.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But like, as soon as he went like way back for the bro high five and all that, I was like, they're just little kids. And it's such a subtle but yet great way to say like, oh, they might be these super powered robots right now, but they're just little kids.
Yeah, the cyborg spots it right away.
Yeah. Well, he also has some extra sensors, I'm guessing, because obviously has these things here that can download. He's got the things behind his ears. So I don't know how much of his like actual brain and stuff human still, because he can download an entire ship's worth of data to him. So I'm guessing he has the ability to like almost see like x-ray through, right? So he can see that they're synthetic, not because right away he tagged it. Oh, you're synthetic.
Well, I'm sure just with hearing, you could figure out that there's no heartbeat. If he's got enhanced hearing,
yeah, that too.
He's probably hearing his heartbeat is the only one in the room kind of thing, right?
Yeah, that's true.
If he does have a heart. But we did find out he definitely has a stomach because he had to eat.
Yes, and he definitely has a chest because he's scared of the chest bursters. Or he's scared of the facehuggers putting a chest burster in him.
Correct.
So he's human enough that he could incubate Xenomorph.
So based on that and all the animals we see in the lab too, because the first scene was like Wendy just running, trying to find her brother. And then we go into the lab where they're putting the specimens back away kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it looks like they gathered up most of them.
They have everything. Yes.
They have everything.
They have the 6 eggs, the 1 morph body, and all 5 samples. They have everything from the crash.
Okay. I'm going to wait for what I was going to talk about till later, till we get to that part. But we also have the redhead like going through some stuff. What the hell is going on with her?
Yeah. We'll talk about that, but I want to go back to the Wendy fight too.
Not up to the fight yet.
No, the fight happens before they ever go back to the lab. Wendy fights the Xenomorph before they go back to the lab.
I'm talking about the lab where...
You're talking about when she's kind of just staring off in fascination still? Because she hasn't broke in the beginning of the episode. It's later in the episode that she goes full, like, I'm broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah, she's not broken.
This is like the second scene.
Yeah, I was confused because for me in that scene, I don't see psychosis yet. I just see, like, utter fascination.
She's breaking.
See, that's where I disagree with you.
The redhead?
The redhead. Nibs. Her name's Nibs.
Yes.
When she first gets attacked by the tentacle T. Ellis, she like freaks out about it. Then she kind of calms down, and then she's like fascinated by it. And then she starts to get upset because she's starting to realize that she has no autonomy. So it's like she starts to be like, well, why do I have to be called Nibs? Why couldn't I be a girl? She's starting to like get a little bit of, it's like just regular childhood jealousy at this point, where it's like, well, how come Wendy gets special privileges? How come I can't be like that? It's more like just like being a kid and like being fascinated by the situation, like one, fascinated by the creature, and then being a kid. It's a little bit later for me, and I'd love to hear if you guys, are more along Liam's perspective on this. It's a little bit later that I start to notice that when they get back to the island, that she's starting to like almost completely lose her mind.
The dead stare was happening in that scene, or when they're talking about the names. Her dead stare has been constant.
Okay.
So that's why I'm wondering, like, what is going on? Like, It's like her psyche is not integrating as well as everyone else's is.
Well, we know that's going to happen, right? They're prototypes. They're basically beta tests. So, I mean, there's going to be bugs. There's going to be glitches. There's going to be at least 1 or 2 of them that fault out. Just by basic, like, when we build a prototype, some of them are not going to work. So we know that probably that's, she's probably detaching from reality. I mean, that's what I think a lot of the symbolism later in the show is why I got that.
Okay.
A lot of her former self and herself kind of mapping over each other in the mirror. And then when they zoom out on the mirror, only half the mirror is actually lit. So it shows you like the duality of what's going on inside of her. So there's a lot of her younger self splitting away from this android synth body. Like it's rejecting the transfer, basically, is how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, that's why I'm calling it like a psychotic break.
Yeah, and we're seeing that very much like a psychotic break, so I would agree. Like the way she started, because at first, like again, I thought it was just like childhood fascination, childhood jealousy, trauma, obviously, she had just been attacked, but I didn't see the psychosis yet. So I mean, I'm talking over again, so I don't want to keep doing that, but later for sure, like I have a feeling she's going to like hurt somebody. She's going to lose herself and try to hurt somebody.
Okay. So now we can talk about the fight scene and the Wendy and her brother.
Yeah, so it's the episode starts off with Wendy pursuing her brother.
Yes. And then it goes to the lab and then it goes to that.
She hears the clicking, like the xenomorph noise, like a clicking sound that they make to her, which then immediately brings her down to where the xenomorph drone has set a trap. Like the whole purpose of a xenomorph drone is to create more xenomorphs. And so that's exactly what he did. The first living person he found close to the hive, or where he was going to build his hive, he grabbed. Brings him down, puts him against the wall like we've seen in classic alien movies when they're going to prepare him for the chest hugger or for the face hugger.
Has that occurred yet, though?
Not in this canon of the series. It has not happened yet, but I mean, it's...
No, I'm talking about, does the brother have a face hugger inside him already?
No, because we saw he had the surgery on his chest. So they have his whole chest open when they remove his lung, and they would have seen that that was in there. So no, I don't think... I think Wendy got there fast enough that she stopped it. Now, the cool thing about what happened there is that the xenomorph is actually afraid of Wendy, which I thought was cool.
Is it afraid, though?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if it's afraid or if it saw her as the barrier and wanted to go around it and thought the easier route was through the top.
Yeah, but it didn't try to attack through the top.
No, it didn't. It wasn't until she
stabs through, knowing where it is. He never sends, because he could send his tail through just as easy as she sends the sword through.
Yeah.
And he never does. He doesn't try to attack. He's scared of her. He's trying to figure, they're smart, but they're also like an insect, right? So like he's trying to figure out like instinctually how to circumvent the threat to get to the thing he needs.
So going back to the whole idea of the engineer's blood or something with the engineers is in Wendy, that could be why it's not actually fear, it's familiarity.
Xenomorphs don't fear engineers though. They attack them on the spot. They kill them.
Okay.
Because if you go back to Prometheus, they fight. Like they fight each other. A facehugger even grabs onto an engineer, and then we see that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil it, but we see what happens there. And so, like, I don't think so. I think so. What we established as canon so far is that these 5 species respond to fear as a catalyst. Now, it's not like if you're without fear, you don't get attacked like that weird Will Smith movie, but it is without fear, you are less susceptible to be like a target. Like, you don't show up as a big red target to them as easily if you're not fearful. So at first,
kind of like blood in the water.
So at first I thought maybe because Wendy's like not afraid at all. She like pulls knife, charges, like walks forward. So like, oh, maybe he just saw the fear. But then it doesn't make sense. I have a feeling that this thing is legit scared of Wendy, because then she hooks it, right? She hooks the second mouth.
Yes.
She's dragging it. It's flailing its tail around. Now, you've seen how surgical this thing can be with its tail. It went through the brother's lung, ripped him out of the canister. And so my theory is it's so scared of Wendy, all it's trying to do is get away. So it doesn't even try to attack her, because otherwise it would just attack her and then move on.
That's a good point.
So I have a feeling that whatever they did to Wendy, or whatever Wendy is to them, is like they've never seen it, or it truly scares them. Like they're fearful of her.
Okay, that's interesting. You're gonna send me down a whole nother rabbit hole.
And then, obviously they lock her in the elevator shaft with them, and it's that classic scene where it's like, now you're locked in here. It's like, no, now you're locked in here with me. And she takes his head off.
Yeah. So in that scene, because they showed her get hurt in the head, I thought it was after that she started to get the connection.
Seems like it's built in from the start.
Yeah, the more you're talking about it, the more I'm realizing that.
One thing I was curious about in that whole scene where the synthetic blood comes down over her forehead, like there's no wound, like the top of her head isn't damaged. There's no cut. There's like no sign of where that would come from, so that we know she's damaged. We see this one drop of blood come down, or synthetic blood. So I'm like, interesting. I was expecting her to like fall over and like the top of her head's missing or something, or like acid got in there, or something happened where she's damaged. It just literally looks like Kersh shut her down. Which they do say later he does. Like, he just shut her down to protect her and get her back to the base. So I'm like, did she really get hurt, or did Kersh just shut her down?
I thought she was shut down only when she got to the lab, so that he could make sure that she didn't damage herself while they were attempting to repair whatever happened.
Oh, maybe, because I was under the impression he did it earlier, because the dialogue that was going on in my mind was like, hey, why is she incapacitated right now? Like, why are you wheeling her in?
It's safer.
And he said it's safer. We shut her down so we can like basically get her here.
Yeah.
That's what I may be putting words into my head that weren't really there, but that's what I assumed.
Which one is it?
Yeah.
And then we have the Boy Cavalier wanting to play his new toys. Going down to the lab after they transfer everything over here. But if you want to talk about the boys and the cyborg again, but I think you covered that, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's some interesting things there that we should touch on, because I think that they will be relevant in the future. One, the boys are so young and so naive, they don't realize that they're giving away valuable information, right? Like, they're trying to protect the fact, like, they know that they're, like, IP, like, they shouldn't talk about what they are.
Yeah.
But, like, everything else is fair game. So they're like, oh yeah, we're from News. I'm like, oh, like they're like giving away all the information. So they did give Morrow quite a bit of information, and Morrow was able to plant a communicator onto
the neck, and it got absorbed into his.
Now, I was wondering what it was, a tracker, what was it? It seems like it's a communicator. Like it's a way for him to...
Could be all in one.
Could be. A way for him to like open a lot of communication with them, so kind of keep things open. I thought it was a tracker so that he could go locate the specimens once he was back. But
yeah, well, later on in the episode, after he has the talk with the younger Yutani, because she talks about he knew her grandmother, because it was what,
65 years. Yep.
All right. I did remember that number. But he talks about his whole family is gone. He gave up his life to collect these specimens. So it's become his identity now that if he just walks away, then he feels like his time with his daughter and everybody else for nothing.
Yeah.
So I understand that kind of drive that he has there. So I do think that the next thing is both a communicator and still a tracker because of that line that he was talking about that he wants to go get them back. He's smart enough to know that if he put the tracker on that, they're probably going to end up in the same place or the home base where the rest of the samples are going.
Yeah.
So he did have enough knowledge there. We saw the facehugger egg go ahead and start opening up when he was nearby.
Yeah, because Kersh basically backed him down. So that's the one thing that I think Kersh is, and then you saw it later too, he's trying to figure out a way to get these hybrids that less human, because the human element of him is the part that's he sees as a flaw. Because when he shows up, the very first thing Smee goes is like, hey, he's got a gun. And Kersh's like, I see that. I get that. I'm not scared of this. I'm not a human. He doesn't say that, but obviously that's what he's thinking, right?
He's playing the character so well.
Oh, yeah, Timothy, great job. Yeah, and so he's like, that whole scene plays out so we can move past it. We've talked about enough of what's going on there. But, when they do get all those specimens back, Boy Cavalier is standing in the balcony before he even goes down. And you can tell he's like upset and distraught at first because he sees his children, his creations coming in and a little worse for wear, looking tired, looking beat up. Then he starts to see the aliens.
But they don't get tired.
It's weird, though, that they look like it they are.
They did.
Yeah.
I caught that, too. When they're riding back in the jets.
Yeah. They looked physically drained, yeah. But when he started to see the specimens, his face changed completely. The smile. He's getting closer and closer to the glass as more and more of them came in. Like, just super excited. I also think 100% that the bald guy that's always with him, whose name I cannot remember, is a synth. Just the way he moves and operates, and he's a synth, I think.
Okay.
I also have a theory that we could jump to real quick. So when Morrow is educating himself on the 65-year gap that he's had, and he's trying to figure out what is Prodigy, what are these companies, we actually get a lot if you pause and you read. So they could give you confirmation of who the 5 companies really are, how Prodigy came to be, and in the backstory of how Prodigy came to be in the article, gives you a pretty big clue, I think, of who Boy Cavalier really is. So Boy Cavalier gets into a really bad car accident early in his life where someone dies. We're guessing someone he loves, mother, girlfriend, something like that, whatever it may be. Young, probably parent. But what's to say that he wasn't so damaged at such a young age that he isn't the first prototype of the synth? Who says that he isn't the first hybrid? And the only thing he's doing right now is trying to create his equal, to create his mate, if you will. To create someone he could live forever with.
Okay.
Because he talks about it there's no equal to me. I want someone I can actually have a conversation with. I want someone like me.
Interesting theory because it does line up too.
The other weird theory that the internet's throwing around that I don't necessarily align with yet because I don't think Wayland's quite dead is that it's Wayland's consciousness inside of a synthetic body that is pretending to be Boy Cavalier. But I don't really feel that one as much as an actual kid Prodigy being put into a synthetic body and now literally using every ounce of his power to build an entire company so that he could have a companion. Because living forever alone is hell. Kind of a theory I have. But let me know what you guys think.
That's good. And then we have the other one of the kids, I don't remember her name, who talking about the favorite thing all the time. She's like, can I be your favorite? Am I your favorite?
Curly. She's Curly. Curly's the one who's trying to become Wendy. Trying to become the number one.
Yeah, she's quite brilliant.
Very Neo of the Matrix, right? She's like, I learned French. They downloaded it. Damn, I want to download languages.
He looked almost jealous.
Yeah.
So maybe that's evidence that's starting to go against what you were just saying?
Could be. But he also could be such an early model, remember? That he can't do all the things that the new ones can.
So maybe he gave Wendy supercomputer in the brain because he does want her to be that companion, if your theory holds up, as maybe a handicap to his Prodigy consciousness that was already downloaded.
I think ultimately, too, once he perfects it, he'll just transfer his consciousness into the perfection. So right now, he's not going to waste his consciousness. He's going to use test subjects. And once it's perfect and proven, because right now Wendy's still just a prototype, but once it's perfected, then he'll transfer.
All right, so back to what I was talking about earlier in this episode. So when they're back at their home base, they've got all the samples out, and they've got all the lab animals right before he takes out the little fishy thing, takes out the face hugger.
Yeah, I think it's just a baby I would call it like a xenomorph larva, right? Because it has to gestate. That's why Metamorphosis is the name of the episode, because the entire lifespan of a xenomorph is like, it's almost like a butterfly, except for the end result is not a beautiful butterfly.
Yes. So I kind of, because I'm sure it can happen, I want to see the face huggers go into the other animals. It'd be fucking hilarious to have a bunny xenomorph.
We have seen time and time again that whatever the xenomorph inhabits, it takes on physical form.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's what I want. I want to see the bunny. I want to see the goat.
We already know from the amazing trailers leading into this, not the trailers for the episodes, but the actual trailer for the series, that eventually the sheep gets the eyeball thing put into it, because that's like one of the main parts of the trailer is this sheep with this huge eyeball.
I don't remember that. But one of the things as I was watching this, I remember seeing the trailer for Badlands.
Yeah. So we have all specimens back on Neverland, and Boy Cavalier goes down to check out his new R&D, his new acquisition, if you will, the things that he's stolen from Utani. And his curiosity kind of gets the better of him. And if it was Kersh having previous knowledge, he would end up becoming a freaking xenomorph, or at least the incubation of one.
I was rooting for Kersh to just let it take over him.
There's got to be some programming that Kersh has that allows anything and everything Boy Cavalier says and does to be gospel.
Okay.
It has to be, because there's multiple times where all he does is put Kersh down. He's like, oh, I thought you were supposed to be better than man. Sounds like you're just making excuses, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you can see visibly, like, Kersh is like trying to register that, but at the same time, I think there's something that he has programmed in him, almost like a failsafe, where it's like, from Foundation, where she can't hurt Empire. I think it's much like that, where like his synth can't hurt him.
Could be, but loopholes like Demerzel where he could just let it happen.
Well, we did see, like, right after that, Kersh does save him from getting it hurt and kicks him out of the lab and basically says, like, unless, nothing human can be in here while we're working with these. And he kind of agrees. But as soon as he agrees and he walks away, like, that was a pretty villainous smile he gave as he walked back in.
He definitely thought about it.
I don't know, man. Like, you're not going to purposefully hold the camera on someone's face and have them express such a, ear-to-ear villainous type smile about what just happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Where it may be his motives. Because there's a couple of times where he is android, right? He is a synthetic. So there are going to be things that don't feel right because he doesn't have human emotion. But still, there are things about him, the long stares at the kids, when he's walking away from Boy Cavalier with the smile, just kind of the way he, nonchalantly will just like slice into things. I think there might be another deeper layer to him that we haven't seen yet.
That scene reminded me of earlier in the episode where the one scientist-like kid, it's walking with the sample and he goes to touch the screen, he goes, look with your eyes.
Yeah. Toodles. That one's Toodles. He's the one that every episode is getting himself. Curiosity is going to kill the cat with that one. Because in episode 1, the first time we see him, he's really interested about that flower looking thing. He's like staring at it like.
There's like 30 layers. Curiosity killed the cat. Satisfaction brought him back, and then so-and-so.
Well, that's the thing. He's not human anymore. So even if something were to kill him, all you got to do is repair the parts and he's back. It's not like a human. It's not like Joe, where if he loses a lung, you got to like put a whole new lung back in there, which was interesting. We got to get to that. So we have all this happening, but at the same time, we have a team of people repairing Wendy, and we have a team of people repairing Joe. One, obviously, is just like a synthetic download. The other one is an actual operation room, which is the whole reason I believe that he did not actually get implanted, because they rip his chest open to remove the impaled lung from the tail of the xenomorph. And when they remove that, they patch it up. We use that for an incubator later, but then do they give him a synthetic lung?
I don't know. If they do, that would make him a cyborg.
It would, because they put him in the healing pod, which we've seen at Prometheus and other alien franchises have these like med bays with a healing pod in it, where like you can go into it and like it'll automatically start to do the things it needs to do. You don't like really need a doctor there, right? And so he's in the healing pod, he's doing fine, but they obviously use his lung to incubate the other chest burster that they have there, or they're not chest bursters yet. Technically, they have to grow a little bit bigger, but it will be a chest burster, the xenomorph larva, if you will. So now that's inside of his lung, which was patched back together and used just for an incubator instead of a test tube. We did get to see the 5th specimen. Did you notice that? The winged one?
The winged one?
Yeah, it's still in its container. We haven't seen it fully exposed yet. But inside of the lab on Neverland, we do get to see it again, just in its container. It's like orange, it has like the wings. We haven't seen it yet, like fully out and attacking things, but it has like a weird, almost like a stinger that comes out and then sucks back in. And that's like all we really saw of it. Was like it was sitting there with its wings and the stinger like comes out and it sucks back in. And that's really all you see. But yeah, it's some sort of like wasp looking thing.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's going to be crazy.
I wonder if that has anything to do with why they had that scorpion at the beginning of the series.
Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely, some symbolism. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it. Yeah, so really how the episode closes out is Wendy gets woken up. She's supposed to be in complete shutdown mode, but somehow her brain powers back on and direct connection to the xenomorph. As soon as the xenomorph starts getting cut into and operated on, that this shrieking noise starts happening.
Yeah.
And she wakes up. And she's being physically
Dragged.
affected by this. Like, not only is she being drawn to it almost like a moth to a flame, but physically being, like, every time he's cutting her, she's like,
migraine.
yeah, like physically feeling the pain. And you can tell that all the other facehuggers are also freaking out, like in their eggs. They're like spitting and freaking out. And so, like, that's what makes me really believe that she's like tapping into how they communicate to each other, like the hive mind, and that she's feeling that. Cause like the one facehug is getting cut open, so it's experiencing pain, so it's calling out in distress to everyone else, and she's feeling that, which brings her into the room. Ultimately, once they do remove the larva and place it into the cup, she kind of like just passes out, right? So like the signal's done, she passes right back out. So like she was only awake and conscious while the signal was like being emitted. So
Like sleepwalking.
yeah, it was a really weird, and no one with their super android hearing noticed that she fell or walked in behind them.
Yeah, I didn't get that with Kersh because I thought for sure he was going to turn around and just stare at her like
The airlock's pretty loud when it opens.
Yeah.
And
he's not human, so
she
he
also fell and hit the
better
floor.
hearing.
Yeah, so that part was interesting. But I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm a huge fan of sci-fi, but especially things that like I've had decades of like world building and lore into. And I do enjoy the fact that although not every piece of movie and art, stuff that's been out in this universe is becoming canon, a lot of it does give you nostalgia, right? Like we do still feel a lot of the homage to the old stuff, a lot of really awesome new stuff being introduced that I'm really excited to unpack.
And it's way better than the movie they just did.
Yeah.
The last one.
Oh, the last one was garbage. Covenant was pretty decent. I thought it was going to go somewhere with David and being like he's like experimenting with the xenomorphs and he's the reason it all comes. And like, I thought they were going to go somewhere with that, but apparently that's just going to get red content. It's going to be it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, so many layers, so many mysteries, so much to unpack. We're only 3 episodes in and really enjoying it. So cannot wait for episode 4 next week. If you guys are enjoying it too, hit the like button. Remember, share your opinion, share your theories. If we're wrong, we're right. You got something to say? Down in the comments is where you do it. We can't wait to chat with you down there. And if you want to keep joining us on this journey, the best way to do that is subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification to all, and that way you can catch all our videos. We drop multiple a week, Alien Foundation, Institute, and we're also going back through Handmaid's Tale with many of our fans who absolutely requested it and love it, and we love going through it with you. So that being said, we'll see you guys on one of these videos.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.